Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Tuesday, October 4th, 2022. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Before we get to the charts, I do want to invite you to join me later on this afternoon for our PivotBoss monthly market outlook. It'll be hosted at 4 p.m. Central Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, using the link in the description below. We'll be talking higher time frame charts. We'll be using quarterly charts, quarterly pivots, and also looking for opportunities both short and long term heading into the end of the year. We'll also take your requests. So join me later on this afternoon at 4 p.m. Central for the PivotBoss monthly market outlook. All right, here is a look at the ES in the daily time frame. You'll notice the previous session finished with an outside day, a bullish outside day, rejected the previous quarter's close and low. That's the previous month's close and low, and that's also the previous session and the previous week's close and low. All of those were one and the same, and a hard rejection right out of the gate to start the new quarter. And we've seen a continuation in overnight trading, very bullish continuation, and we have now reached the previous week's high. So the previous week's range was here down to here. We saw a rejection at one edge, and here prior to the RTH open on a Tuesday, we've already reached the other side of the range. How's our market going to respond now? Do we get some sort of failure and by the end of the day close back below 36.90? Or do we continue to hold these gains into the close? Can price continue to push higher? If this is a strong enough rejection here on these lows, we may have a nice reversal back to the FOMC key level above at 39.02. If we're going to reject the previous month's low and close, then we return back to the previous month's midpoint, and those two are very close to each other. Additionally, the breakdown point right here at 3900 opened up the decline. Now seeing rejection, we may come back to the scene of the crime. So we have a very good confluence of upside targets at 3900 that could be hit ahead, but price needs to be able to maintain these gains. Any failure to hold above the previous session's high could lead to a failure and a return back down. We're clearly in a downtrend right now, so this is a counter trend move, and after this move takes place, there could be another round of selling pressure that could take us lower. We are at a big time edge in the charts, so if this is a good rejection, again, there should be enough power here to get us back toward 3900 up ahead, but gotta hold on to these gains today. A failure to stay above the 37.15 could be problematic. All right, let's take a look here at the NQ. You'll see right now the NQ also rejecting the previous boundaries as well. Right here, big time rejection at 11K. Price rallies to close the day. Not quite outside day, but very good strong rejection nonetheless. Nice continuation here in pre-market trading, and almost back to the previous week's high price. So very important right there. Again, if this market can continue to hold on to these gains, we could snap back further over the course of the next week, back toward the FOMC key level above. That's right around the 12K level. You'll notice that's also where the breakdown point came of support. So again, snapping back to this area could provide a nice magnet target up above. This level right there, 12,006. That's the previous month's midpoint. So if you're going to reject the edge, you tend to bounce back toward the midpoint of the previous month's range. Again, that's around 12K. So we could be looking at 500 more points to the upside. Any higher low or pullback here over the next day or two could lead to a continuation up. But again, gotta stay above two-day highs. Gotta continue to hold above the previous session's high. If we take a look at crude oil right now, this one is up 1.38%. We've seen a nice counter trend bounce. These counter trend bounces have been measured moves here. Nice little counter trend bounce here and here and here. These little measured moves have been all about the same in the terms of number of points. They've all been around 8 points of bounce. And once we see that, we tend to see the thing turn down for a primary move somewhere in the 10 to 12 point range. So again, after this bounce higher within a downtrending market, do we find another rejection that brings us back down? That's going to be something to continue to watch out for. The up moves in this downtrend have been very lazy, and they haven't really gone a whole lot of points here before we've seen the turnaround. Something like this, or like this, something like this here. Each of these here have been hardcore turnarounds here. So again, right now, seeing a little bit of a counter trend move up. We could see a move perhaps back to 87.22 here, that FOMC key level from below. But sooner than later, we could be expecting some sort of turn down in price. If it pushes through 87s, it opens up the next zone up above to 97.5. So you have this 87 down here, you have the 97 up here. If it can push through 87s and find acceptance, you got 10 more handles of upside where we could trade somewhere in here. But again, big time level coming up ahead, 87s. If we take a look here, Bitcoin right now continues to hold in a very narrow range. Is definitely building some significant energy. A little bit of a rounded behavior off this last couple of weeks here, but very narrow range, sitting right on top of the 18K level. 18K is significant area of support. If you look at the previous quarter's range right now, you got a previous quarter's low, previous quarter's high, and a midpoint that comes in right here at 21,655. That's also the FOMC key level from July. So again, if we do get a little bit of a bounce, it may return back up to this level. Still downtrending market, still big time support at 18K. And again, the long-term chart here suggests that there could be a big time test at 18K. Rounded top coming into that level, very clear support with clear air down below into this LVN channel. So 18K continues to be the big time support level to watch. Lastly, looking at ETH futures. ETH right now developing a very narrow range and chopping right at the 1300 level. 1300 used to be a CLVN in the chart, and we've now seen that it has filled in 1300 here. No longer a CLVN. Instead, nice little peak developing right at that level. Again, this looks doesn't look the most bullish. You have this kind of rounded behavior right here, barely hanging on to support right now, narrow range. It could be a matter of time before we see a significant breakout from this range, which could trigger the next several hundred points of movement. If it's to the downside, it could be a big time test of the lows of the year. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Remember, please join me later on this afternoon for our PivotBoss monthly market outlook for October and Q4. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.